Hey everyone, happy Friday to you. And today, this is our last day of my fashion week chats with fashion stylists. And today we are ending up with Jason Bolden, who is an amazing wardrobe stylist and amongst many other things. And we're going to be chatting with him today, talking about how he got into the industry, what he got going on, how did he make it to the point where he's at in the industry, and all that good old stuff. So he just popped in the room, so let me bring him on.
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm a bit cropped out, so let me figure out how to. You figure out
I
how
know
to like.
when it's two people, you got to readjust.
Oh, I'm like, whew, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that. Oh, there we go. Wait, but not really, right? But a little bit.
Just a little, yeah, that's good right
bit.
there.
Let me figure it out. Let me adjust the whole operation. It's a little tilted. I'm feeling a little Teddy Riley, but it's fine. Let me try to organize this operation. Okay, I think I may have it. Derek, I think I may have solved the problem.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I had to go buy a stand. So
Right?
I've been doing it so much, I just have a stand now.
I'm like, what is really happening? I guess this is fine. It's a little.
It's okay, but we're good. You know. But at least we have visual. You know,
Yeah, we got
people
visual.
there's no visual. It's just there.
Yeah.
But how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm here. You know, I'm here and we are doing what we can do. How has it's two things that's happening now. So let's first start with how has it been through COVID?
A reboot, refreshing, interesting, and I've been really, lucky. I've been really lucky, and it's been a nice reset for me.
And then now we're in this other part of this Black Lives Matter moment. How is that affecting you?
Well, listen, we live it, right?
Yeah.
So we live it. So it's something that we've had to adjust our whole entire lives, right? So for us, it began to feel so normal for us, right? To be in spaces where we didn't feel appreciated, and watching our family members and brothers and sisters be prosecuted and murdered over and over and over. We've dealt with it for so long. And the crazy thing is, it got to a point I felt like we were all outraged, but there was also a piece where we were so used to hearing about it, where you kind of you get upset, but you get upset, but you're also kind of like, you can predict it. You're like, yep, that sounds right. That sounds right. I knew. Yep. Yep. They did it. So through that, it's definitely been interesting, but it's also been extremely liberating. To see the shift, to see the change, to see everyone collectively come together for a greater good. But hopefully, hopefully people understand that this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. So this fight is not about just only for it to be something that's cute to post and you go do something like that. You need to take action, and everybody is responsible. Everybody is responsible to take action. So we got some fucking shit to do.
Yes, and like you said, it's a long marathon.
Yeah,
that we're in right now.
Yeah, stop trying to look for the quick fix. This ain't no quick fix. It's been 400 years.
Well, for me, this COVID thing has gave me time to meet a lot of people that I admire and that I see their work, and I'm like, oh well, why have we never talked to each other before?
Right.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know. So the shutdown for me gave me time to be more social with other people in my industry, which I have been gracious for, and thank you for taking the time out to chit chat with me and my folks.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So let's jump into fashion. You know, is that where you started at? Is that something you always wanted to do? Is this where you knew you wanted things to be at?
I have always been drawn to it and excited about it. There's the fantasy of it all has always been really enticing. And even as a kid, I remember just being mesmerized by women in my family and just being just so mesmerized by them and being lucky enough to experience, you know, fantasy and clothes and jewelry and hair and makeup and just to be able to really appreciate it. But I also grew up in the Midwest, so that was not something that like, no one would ever think or tell you that this is an opportunity for you, right? So it was either you had to be a doctor, attorney, an engineer, a teacher, something like that. And I went towards the world of medicine. So I went to school to be a physician. And I was doing it for somebody else and it never felt right. But the things that felt right was me flipping through magazines while I'm in class and me like spending my last money on a Louis Vuitton backpack in college. Like I was like, you know what I mean? So it was something, it was always something there, and it was always something that was pushing me, and it was always something that made me happy. And I worked in luxury retail, and that was kind of like, in my mind, that was the closest thing that I could get to that fantasy world. And it kind of, it snowballed. It turned into a snowball effect. And, you know, Gabrielle Union, who's one of my best friends, gave me an opportunity and didn't even realize she was giving me an opportunity. She was just being like a friend. Come down to Miami and bring some of the clothes from your store. And I launched a vintage store in New York, and she was like, just bring me something to wear. And I brought her something to wear, and the next day it was on Vogue, and the phone calls start coming in. So all of a sudden I was like, I'm a stylist? Like, what the fuck, huh? And, you know, I went in so blind, and it was just like, I was faking it till I was making it. I was like, okay, so that's what, okay, she needs, so, you know, I took a minute, but my business kind of went really quickly, but I had to take a minute to actually sit down and study it. Like I had studied fashion and all these things. I could tell you everything that you needed to know. And the luckiness of working in luxury retail, you know, you get to touch and feel, and you think you get the terms and you know all of that stuff. But the actual business of what I was doing, I had to sit down and learn and, you know, create relationships. And it was tricky. It was definitely tricky.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from St. Louis.
Okay, I'm from Ohio, so I understand.
Okay, so you know, so we there.
You
already know, we there. They were somewhere like this.
Right. Like, you want to what? No.
It's like, I can make a living off of this. I can do this.
Yeah. So the testament to your story is that, you know, you have to be ready and be willing to be open.
Yeah, it comes, and that's the thing. And I, you know, I'm a big person about manifestation and speaking ththings into existence. And I never realized that at such a young age, I was actually practicing that. And I would always say that I want to be in this world, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And then Gab and I were just totally strictly friends. And I launched a store, and she was in her words, she was like, bitch, can you bring me some clothes? And I was like, bitch, like, okay, like, and then that's kind of how it happened. But as soon as the calls came in, I was like, okay, you know, it's just like somebody drop somebody in your chair and they're like, can you do this? And you like, watch, I'm about to do it. Right. I'm about to do it. So basically, you know, like what you're saying, you just have to be ready. And I was getting ready every day while trying to be ready. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like being ready is it's more like just be available. Be available and be willing.
Yeah.
You know? And then you grow to become ready. Because hell, it's some calls I get that I still ain't ready for it. I'm like, wait.
Listen.
You want me to do what?
Listen.
Okay, well, I'll figure it out.
Listen. I still get nervous. I still get nervous. I mean, I was so nervous when I got a call for Serena Williams to shoot the cover of Teen Vogue, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Okay, just show up and just be Jason and just try to do good work. Don't talk too much. Just you know what I mean." So I'm still nervous, but I think that's exciting still, right? I guess when we stop, Derek, when we stop getting nervous, maybe we won't like it no more, huh?
Yeah, we have to get, because nervousness to me is what helps fuel the creativity.
Some of your best stuff comes out of that, right?
Yeah. You know, a lot, like I said, but from a hair perspective, a lot of our mistakes are our best work out of nervousness.
Me too. I'm always like, yeah, I meant to do that.
Right. The big thing that you said, that you talk about, is the business of styling, the business of fashion, which I think a lot of people get really confused on, and a lot of people just get mixed up. But just the business of our creativeness, just in general. Did you, learning that, did you have a mentor helping you, or were you really figuring this all out on your own?
I've always been very savvy when it comes to money. So I've been very lucky when it comes to money, of just the way I think about it and the way I process it. I didn't have a mentor in that sense, but I had older people around me who kind of schooled me, but they had nothing to do with the business. And for example, like my best friend, who's we grew up together, we've been friends since high school, but like, she's a VP of a hedge fund. So her whole world is business, and my whole world is that. So I've had her in my life to kind of guide me, just even at a younger age. She'd be like, yo, we're not doing that, we're doing this. So, but I never had anyone in the fashion industry kind of guide me and tell me about it until maybe a couple of years ago, when people really, as my business flourished and I became like a name, people began to really talk to me and tell me things, and you're able to say, you know, did you get paid that much? Or how does it work when they fly you to Cannes to do these things? Like, it's all those different things that you learn, but you have to ask questions. And what sucks is there's not a lot of people of color who do Hollywood stuff. So to see somebody, like, there's a couple of us, but for when we were in our intro to it, we didn't see anybody like us that we can lean on to and ask questions. So there, in the sense of mentoring, there wasn't a lot of mentors in that space at all.
Do you find that, did you, coming up in that space and you were getting client, you were doing your client, did you find that your clients were helping you in that space? Because I know, like, for me, like, Nicole Ari Parker is a good friend of mine and a client, and she'll call me like, hey, I refer you for something, and then this is what you need to ask for. This is what you need to do. This is how it needs to go. Like, did you find that within clients for you?
Yeah. I was really lucky. With people like Gab, people like Taraji, people like Ava DuVernay. Like, those people have really kind of laid it out, and you watch how they work in business, and you watch what they request. And you know, someone like a Sam Fine for me, who's like a brother to me. Like, so Sam is someone that I lean into. But my clients and I, we talk about trying to build generational wealth for people of color, right? For Black people. So for us, when we talk about it, it's straight to the point. It's like, this is what we got to do. This is what you need to ask for. And so I've been lucky, like you're saying with Nicole, like, I've been really lucky to have conversations with people, and people really give you heads up and support you. Because the only way we can really, you know, conquer this business and be appreciated even more is if our colleagues and more importantly, the talent that we work with really rep us. Because they're the ones, if they don't champion you to do this stuff, they're going to suggest someone else who may not be Black. But you know what I'm saying? Because whoever, they're like, well, we'll use this person. You're like, what? You know? So it's really important to have our clients champion for us, because it's so important.
Now, when you start getting these phone calls, to start working, did you ever imagine your life to be what it is now when this all first started?
Yes. Yes, I did. I always dreamed about living a big, full life. Like I've always dreamed of it. Now, how it happened, that I couldn't imagine or dreamed of that, because how it happened, I was like, fuck, like it's like, those moments when you sometimes, and it took me a couple of years ago for one of my really good friends was like, actually a celebrity client was like, you need to stop and take it all in for a minute. It was not this year, the year before, I had 13 people going to the Met. And one of my clients was like, when we were talking, she was like, where are you going? I was like, I have to go here, then I gotta go there. And she was like, what? You have who? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I had Zazie Beetz, I had Serena, I had Taraji, I had Yara, I had Ava, I had all these people going. And she was like, do you realize what's happening right now? And I was like, no, girl, I gotta go. You know that moment, it's just like, girl, you look good. You push him out, girl, next. Like, it's like, and she said, and when I walked out of the hotel, I was walking to another hotel, and I was like, holy shit. This little black boy from the Midwest has pretty much every A-list black celebrity going to something. But you move so quick. And I couldn't imagine that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you really are doing. Like, in that moment, I'm like, oh, it's the Met. Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like crazy. And my introduction was Taraji taking me to the Emmys, like her being nominated for an Emmy, then a Golden Globe, and then an Oscar. And like, it was all those moments I could never think that's what it was supposed to be. Like, the Oscars for a stylist is like, it's like huge. And you think, and you sit back and it's like, damn, I've done the Oscars for the past 6 years. Like, every year, like, boom, 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 boom. And it's like either been a nominee or like Serena Williams. Like, it's just like, so I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to happen like that.
Right. Now, as black people, we are not raised to cherish our accomplishments, praise our accomplishments. So did you find it hard for you to sit back and be like, you know what? I'm doing this, and this is what I'm doing. Did you find that to be hard for you to uplift yourself in that way?
Yeah. Yeah. And I never thought about the way you just put it, but that's so true, right? Because it's been taught that it's like, or people will perceive it and put that on you, that you're being boastful or you're whatever the fuck. Like, right. I still don't do it as much as I probably should. I don't give myself a pat on the back. I don't think about like, fucking wow. Like, there's a lot of this stuff that I'm doing. It's like the first time for a black person. Like, having someone like a Janet Mock, and like her being like the first trans woman of color wearing custom product. Like, it sounds so basic, but we're talking about a world where it's only supposed to be for this type of person. And then I just knocked the door down, like out, like just into this moment, I just thought about that. It's like things like that you should be excited about, but we're taught and we're convinced, because that's that slave shit, that we're convinced that we're not supposed to be like excited and happy and thrilled, and you're not supposed to like cherish and celebrate those moments and also talk about them. Like, it's nice to be like, Derek, yo, you don't even want to fucking, this is what happened. Right. You know what I'm saying? And your response right back should be like, that's fucking crazy. But it's more like, let me just hold this close to me.
Right. You know,
I don't know if you got a fucking voodoo doll at home like this while I'm telling you about my shit. Like, right. You know what I mean?
And it's also, for me, it's almost like when you're doing something great like that, it's like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Hello. Like, you want a cookie for that? Like, duh. You know, you're like, wait a minute, but you don't understand. Like, this is what they're like, yeah, well, do something more. You're like,
I'm fucking tired.
Right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people see what we do, Derek, as they always see the end result. They never see everything that goes through it. Like, sometimes people don't understand. It's like, when it comes to just coping and dealing with clients and being their therapist and doing all those things and figuring out how to balance that and still have a little something for yourself, it's difficult because we work with people all day long, and I love everybody I work with, but it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot because we're on all day. Like, oh my god, one time, like you the hype man all the time,
right?
And then there's places where a lot of people understand when they see you out with your clients, they think you actually having like it's a party, but you like
I'm still at work.
You at work. Work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got the clothes for her, but now I'm the personal assistant. I'm the bag boy. I'm still, if the hairstyle's not there, I'm checking her hair. If the makeup ain't here, so it's like I'm at work.
It's crazy, but that's what's is really funny to look. It's really funny. I lost a friend to that idea of them being confused, and then sometimes if I see people who follow my work and I see them and they like wave or they want to say something, I'm kind of like, and it's no shade or anything, but it's just like, I'm at work, so I can't. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's not, you get it. It's not that you're trying to be any other way, but when there's moments where it's actually, when you're free to kind of just be and just be like, oh my God, so good to see you. Or like, thank you so much. Or keep up the good work, power to the people. Like it's tough.
Mm-hmm. Now, mentally for you, to have 13 people going to one space, like, you know what I'm saying? So then now you have to, like you said, you have to be the cheerleader. You have to be this, you have to be that. You have to figure out, for 13 people, how is that mentally for you?
I don't even think.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, I looked at, during COVID, I was looking at because I was going to have 14 this year, and I was looking at my my calendar, and I was like, how the hell am I going to do this? Mm-hmm. And what you end up finding yourself is you end up finding yourself just doing it. And that feeling where it's kind of like you see your book, you're like, okay, this will really need me all day. So how am I going to get out of this? It's like you're exhausted. And I literally, when I get home, I'm like, the nights of things like that, like everyone's like, are you going out? Come on. Like, I get a text from like Michael B. Jordan or whoever the hell, like everybody like, let's go, we going to this. And I'm kind of like, I got to go sleep. Because it goes back to what you said, Derek. All of a sudden, I'm going to see a client and they'll be like, is my shirt doing something? And I'm like, I'm trying to cocktail hour.
Right.
Like, so you have to, for me, it's exhausting because I have to take a break. And I also have to, it's a lot of work. It's like the work to get everything done, to make sure they're all on the carpet, and then the follow-up to make sure they're happy after the carpet is over. Mm-hmm. And then, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, then I may have to collect $1 million necklace. It's all those different things that you think about. But again, like I said, in our business, people only see our end result, Derek, and they're like, oh, her hair looks great. Oh, her face is beat. Oh, the dress is major. Or it's like somebody like, oh, I can't believe her hair looked like that. It's like, actually, that's what she wanted.
Right.
And the business is, if you really want to be successful in this business,
you do what they want.
You got to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And you come in with all these ideas, and he's like, well, I would do her hair like this. I'm like, that would be cute, but honey, she don't want that.
She don't want that.
And that's the thing and all the kids that I talked to, they were like, well, what do I should do? I was like, first of all, you need to study the business and you need to listen. Because you get really far when you listen. When she tell you, like, there's moments when you can push people, but when a client tells you that, Jason, I don't like my arms, you just be like, okay, well, look at I have Ava DuVernay who's like, she doesn't show anything. Mm-hmm. And there are people come up to me like, I would start, she should wear a V-neck, this, and have her back out. And I was like, first of all, she a director.
Right.
Second of all, that's not her story. That's what you want to do for her, but that's not what she wants. Mm-hmm. And people can judge a lot of stuff a lot of times, but don't nobody know the conversation that you have with your client while she's sitting in that chair. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows why the fact all of a sudden she's wearing bangs because something may have happened. It's like it's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. So this is a two-part question. Have you went? I'm sorry, people are popping questions up. Have you went through? Have you got yourself together, you know, you're going to a client, and you're like, okay, bitch, you about to be fly, you about to be fired, we got this.
Yeah.
You go on the red carpet, you don't get the response that you like, or you were expecting, or vice versa, where you're like, somebody called you last minute, and you're like, okay, girl, this is all I can do, because you just called me. And they're like, this is the best thing since sliced bread, where did you find this? Can you speak to those experiences?
Yeah. I mean, I've had situations where I'm kind of like, I think this gonna be it. This go kilogram. The gram gonna pop off. And then it hits the gram and people be like, 98 likes. I'm like, but you also I'm like, oh, okay. But it's also very different. Some things, and this is a part of styling, right? Mm-hmm. There's some things that just translates better face to face, like in person, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's also that piece of time, and you can speak to this, by the time they leave you and the time they make it to the carpet, you'd be like, what did you do? So I've had those moments where I'm like, now how the fuck did that strap do that? Like, so it's there, or it's just like, it's always the funny moment I think about with hair and clothes, when I'm like, if you don't just throw your hair off it just be, I'm like, girl, move your fucking, you know what I'm saying? It's like the whole idea was the hair was pushed back behind the ear, and it's all about skin, and the hair all of a sudden right here. And you're like, girl, if you don't go like that. So it's legit things like that. And one particular time with the randomness of it all, it was with Yara for CFDA, and she decided to go the day of. And CFDA was probably at like 4:00. So she hit me at like 10. I'm in LA, she in New York, and she's like, I want to go to CFDA. And I'm like, so I like text my designer friends. I'm like, oh my God, whatever. Mm-hmm. And the designer was like, Fernando was like, oh, he was like, I'm staying, my house is right down the street from the hotel. I was like, can you go to her house and do a fitting? He was like, all I got is 2 looks. And I was like, send me the photo. And I was like, well, I think this one will work. Mm-hmm. She put it on, no alterations, like perfect. And she was like, it was like trending, and she was everywhere. And meanwhile in my head, I'm like, and it was a good look, but was it one of my favorite looks? No, it won't even make it in my top 10 for her. Mm-hmm. But I was somewhere like,
I mean, if y'all say so.
Look, I was just like this when everybody was like, I was like this.
Mind you, and you're 3,000 miles away.
Listen, I was like on a FaceTime call, like, yeah, girl, that's great. Like, it was great. It's crazy. So it is very interesting how people gravitate to certain things, and you're like, really? That's what y'all like? And then the stuff that you've worked so hard for, and like, do you know how hard it was for me to get this dress? Like, all these steps, and people be like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, social media is a mess. They will get you every fucking time.
But speaking of social media, you have done, like, you are one of the top stylists in Hollywood, there. But for you still have managed to still be like low key, like, it's meaning, you're not the flashy fashion stylist. It's not like, you need to know me. You need to.
You ain't shit.
I was gonna start saying names, but I was like, you're gonna keep it cute. But
you ain't shit. Shit.
But for you, right? But for you, is that intentional? To be there, even though, which we'll get into next. But even though you have a show, so but still, even with that being said, are you intentionally saying, you know what, this is what I do, this is my lane, this is where I'm gonna be at? Like, is that intentional for you, or is that just how you live your life?
It's pretty much how I live my life. Like, I'm pretty much this person. But I think for me, like, a lot of people think that I'm really outgoing, and I guess I've never said I was shy. My husband probably looking somewhere like, you ain't shy. But I'm a bit of an introvert. Like, so if I go into it, like if I see you at a place and I go into a room, I'll probably just be in a corner with you. And then when people walk over, I will say hi. Like, I'm just a bit more of an introvert. Like I'm not really that outgoing. I'm outgoing when it comes to work. But when I'm in like social settings, I'm like somewhere like this. But when you have a one-on-one with me, it's very much like this. Like we're laughing the whole time, we're kicking, like it's all of that. It's giving that. But I pretty much function publicly the same way I function with my work and everything else. I've never really been interested in having that attention. I don't, I get very uncomfortable with a lot of attention. So I don't seek it. And in my business, you can promote yourself to get it. But like, I've been lucky enough that I don't have to talk about myself or promote myself because the collection of humans that I work with do it for me. So I'll sometimes, like I got on the elevator once and it was me, Oprah, and Ava. And Ava starts talking about me to Oprah, and I'm like, I'm sinking. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, so I'm really lucky that I have an amazing support system that promotes me. So I don't, and they know, because they know how uncomfortable I am, or they say things like, you're like, well, why don't you say nothing? Like, you should probably pop up more. And it's just like, it's not my thing. And I've also collected clients, the clients that work for me, better that way. You know what I mean? So, and we work in a business where like people lose clients because you're competing with your client. It's like, that's like, at the end of the day, like this your job, and their job is to be a celebrity. Even with the television show, I would be with people, I would be with clients, and people walk over and they'd be like, can I talk? And I literally would be like, and then sometimes it takes, like Storm Reed told me, she was flying back from like Australia or something, and she said the pilot came out of the cockpit. He was like, Storm Reed, you're on Styling Hollywood, right? And so Storm was like, oh my God, that's my stylist, Jason. I was like, girl, first of all, you got Euphoria, Wrinkle in Time, all this stuff.
Right, it's like you have a whole other situation.
And he knew her from that. So it's funny, but it's rewarding, because when those moments really happen and I actually have those times to kind of really celebrate it feels so much bigger. Versus like every day I'm like, check me out, go to like, if you even follow me on social media, it's just more about like, it's about my work and it's about my relationship.
That's so. Speaking of Styling Hollywood, which so it was a couple. I was so proud of y'all, for one, to see a black couple,
double black,
but also to see a couple of y'all stature, and because normally when you see black men get to that level of things, there's only one black man, and you're
that's
like,
why we hashtag double black.
And I'm like, I know who these people are, but that's why, like, literally when it came, I was like, y'all have to watch this before this. I don't care what they're doing. It's the fact that you see two black men and that's together, working together. You have to watch it for this. But going into it to kind of really see what goes into creating and the look of it and all of it. It was just amazing. But so how did that opportunity, was that something y'all was looking after, or did it come to you? How did that opportunity come about?
Well, we have been approached numerous times to do a show, and we kept saying no because it just didn't feel right, and we were just really busy. And then Carlos King, who I think you probably know, Carlos King he reached out and he was like, let's go to lunch. And I was like, or dinner or something. We did that. And then by the end of the day, he was like, we need to do a show. We got to do a show. And I was like, Carlos, the only way I'm going to do it if it does this and it looks like this and it does like this. And we all agreed on how it was going to look and feel. And Netflix was willing to let it look and feel that way. So it kind of just, it happen. And it's been really refreshing and just, it just feels good to hear people say exactly what you're saying about, like, you finally get to see yourself and you finally get to see double black. And it seems what, like, people like to deem normal, right? You know, it's like, it shows exactly what it is, the work struggle, the relationship struggle, the happiness and the support of just people. And, you know, it was really refreshing to be a part of that. And to be the first. It's almost like we're the first, right?
No, it's not almost like you are.
Right. So,
you know,
so it's nice.
Yeah, because I do a separate podcast, and I ask, and we talk about relationships, and, you know, it's really, you can't really pinpoint a black gay relationship in the men culture. You just can't. You just be like,
I mean, it's not. We don't publicize it, but we publicize.
So it's like,
right.
You know somebody? I'm like, I don't know nobody. You know somebody? Like, you know, I don't know nobody. Like, does this even exist? So to be able to see that this is obtainable, yes, you can get married and not be married for 6 months. He was like, "Oh, y'all not married no more." Oh, okay.
Right.
So, you know,
well, I mean, we're 10 years in.
Yeah, but these, and I want, which I'll talk to you about later, but those are just conversations that needs to be had to show that these things are
exposed. We got to expose it.
We have to expose it. So now, so have you seen more work come from the TV show, or have you seen just more other things? Like, have you, being that visible now?
Yeah.
What have you seen come from that? Is it good? Is it
I mean,
bad?
I think you can speak to that too. It's just visibility, right? It's just people recognize you more. You know, with Adair and I, we've just been really lucky that work has always been really busy. So I don't think that any work came from it in that sense, but, you know, there's other things that, you know, we didn't do it for the work. We did it more for what we're saying, the exposure. So, I mean, if it did, I haven't noticed it because we're just always just so busy. But yeah, like, I think the biggest thing is just exposure. Like I forget sometimes that, and I'll just be walking down the street and somebody's like, "Hey," and I'll be like, "What the fuck?" And I'll be like, "Oh, hi," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay." So it's, you know, it's like that, just adjusting to that.
And I'm sorry, you have questions galore. Like, I never had. Like, I've been doing this for months, and I've never had this many questions pop up.
Oh God, I'm scared.
No, they're not. So we kind of answered that question already. People keep asking about. They say, "Can you talk to us about Celine?" Jason, what happened? What's the word on Dior and Celine? But I don't know. I mean, I might.
Okay, so this is the thing. You know, we're living through a moment of civil rights, and what's happening is a lot of people are using this particular moment, this particular momentum, to just be part of the popular vote and words, right? And they're really not. They're not living it, and I saw that, and there's other brands that I saw, and I just didn't agree with it. And what they said just didn't seem authentic, and it just felt like they were just trying to save face. But I was taught, you know, that if you point the finger, you should also be ready to teach and give somebody the chance to learn, right? You give people the chance to learn. So then when you walk away, you can say you did everything that you were supposed to do. So when it's time to knock a motherfucker across the head, like, you know, like, I told you.
Right.
So it was basically that. And, you know, I'm completely open to having a conversation with anybody from any of these brands that I work with and that I don't work with on how better to change. Because the biggest thing is that we can say cancel, but there's no real change, right? Like, what's after the cancel? What should be, because then you think about, you may cancel that one person, but that one person has a reach to whoever's in their house, and they could still be teaching that person in the house the same thing. So you also have an option to be like, okay, that's like, right? You're like, but then I also have the opportunity to say, okay, so let me tell you why this is messed up, and how you can actually make a decision right now to change this and make this better for somebody else, or to how to give somebody else an opportunity. Because the biggest thing is, like, there's no one that looks like us in those rooms, those executive suites, those PR positions. So if there is an opportunity for somebody to actually open themselves up and take a step back and be like, you know what, that is fucked up, and I can't, and what I have been doing has been wrong. So what can I do to change it? What can you lead me to do, Jason, to change it? And there's a piece of me that's like, that's called growth, right? That's growth, and that you want people to change. I in my head, I want to see people get it and understand that, systematic racism is horrible, and I want people to actually sit back and actually get it, so we can change it. So my thing is, like, I'm open to talking to anybody that wants to change and support and do better, but I'm also the same person who go call you out, because I'm like, well, here's your opportunity. Do you want to change or not? Do you want to support or not? Do you want to open up? Because a lot of people like give money. No, you need to give opportunities. Because if you give somebody an opportunity, that means they give another person an opportunity. And then that person that you gave an opportunity to now is a black voice. And I'm talking about a black voice. And I'm not talking about, I'm very clear when people are like, oh, this, I'm like, no, I need a black person. I need a black person who's like a black person. Who's like,
a black
that shit don't sound right.
In their blackness. I preach about that all the time. I'm like, listen here. Just because you're a black face don't mean you live in your blackness.
How about this? All skin folks ain't your kin folks. Right. And all I'm saying is, like, sometimes I'm like, I don't want you talking for me. I won't. So that's the thing. So if you can call it out, you should also be willing and ready to tell them what they can do to support the change that needs to happen. And that change is give opportunities. And for me, like, I don't give a fuck about the clothes. I'm talking about job opportunities, because we have to create wealth for us, because that's at the bottom line, all people care about is dollars and cents.
Yeah. And it's not, and that doesn't, like, I'm with you, because it's like all these companies like, okay, we're gonna give $100 million over there, but okay, you give me the $100 million, which is nothing.
Don't get my money in NAACP.
Right.
What they've done. But anyway, but see, that's the space that I am. Like, I'm very cut and dry, and about it. Like, so that was fucked up, and I felt like it was fucked up. But on the butt of it all, it's just like, well, it's fucked up. But then after that, then what can we do? What can we do? Can I make you and have you understand this? And there's a possibility to give Steve a job and Michelle a job who never had an opportunity. How can you reach into a pocket that you never reached into to give these kids an opportunity? Because we don't have opportunities.
Now, speaking of opportunities, do you make it a point to support Black designers, or for you?
Yeah, I do. You know, this is a really interesting question, because sometimes people write on my post like, "Where are the Black designers on your talent?" And it's just like, a lot of people don't know. It's very hard, and it's a lot of work that goes into this. You know, there's a lot of work, and and what's happening for a lot of Black designers, what makes it very difficult is because it's the lack of funding for them. A lot of them don't have that funding and the backing that these people have. So to get access to them and them to get access to you, it can be very difficult. So that's where it goes back to what I'm saying is like, we can call these people out, but also, babe, can you go right there? Look on the floor. Sorry, Adair just walked in. On the floor, right there. Keep going towards the door. See it on the floor? Go. Keep going on the wood. Yeah. But it's trying to figure out how to build those businesses for them, because I can put that dress on someone, but then what? Like, then what? Because it comes PR, it becomes if people want to buy it, it's all these different things. So I always tell people, Black designers that I work with, I'm always like, okay, are you gonna be ready? to go back to our initial conversation, are you going to be ready? Because what could happen in this moment, you could sell 200 dresses, but you got to be ready. Because if they send you a request and you can't fill the 200 requests, then all of a sudden it's like,
now you're a bad black business.
Yeah, and we don't get the opportunity to fail forward. We only get, it's almost like one chance. So I always lead with education. I'm like, your stuff is sick, it's amazing. But let's educate all this stuff so we can be able to excel and exceed, and you can surpass all this shit. So it's, people, and it's like, I support people all the time. I put my money where it is. I've invested in 5 black companies, fashion companies, and my money goes to not placing it on clients, but placing it on how to make your business last. Because a lot of these business will start today and they be done in 6 months. Sometimes it's like a gay relationship, it's be done. So I just like to keep it real, because I wish somebody kept it real with me that way. It's just like you go into these places and you just get so excited about celebrity. But people don't understand. You get excited about celebrity and somebody try to hit you and want to pay you $250, and you somewhere like. So I try. That's my thing. So I support them all the time, but I just only don't pull clothes. Like I want to be a resource for you to develop a business.
And I've never thought about what happens next. Because I was one of the people like, why don't they use more black designers on this? And but I never thought about what happens next. It's not, we're not putting clothes on people to put clothes on people.
It's a full business. It's just like somebody come and sit in your chair and all of a sudden they fall in love with you doing their hair, and then they want to come back next week and you like, well, I ain't got no electricity, so I can't curl your hair. I ain't got no products. And you somewhere like this, and the person is like, well, damn, because what ends up happening with that? Because everything is word of mouth, and that's just what it is. So I get to the nitty gritty. I'm like, so how are we gonna make this a big business? Because at the end of the day, you should be ready. You should be able to quit at any point, and you satisfied and you chilling. And you can say all day that, oh, I dressed whoever celebrity you want to say you dressed, but then what? That moment goes just like this. Somebody posts a whole new picture tomorrow on Instagram and they forgot all about your dress. So I like to talk about the business of it all.
Now, can you talk to me about the difference between, because I think personal shoppers get very mixed up with being a wardrobe stylist.
Very different. A personal shopper is someone who personally shops for you. A celebrity stylist is someone who works for red carpets, movie premieres, and the bulk of their business is not buying clothes but getting clothes that have just walked the runway. That's a huge difference. So the clothes that you see most celebrities in are things that are not available in stores. So that's a huge difference. A personal shopper is, they go to Neiman, Saks, Bloomingdale's, and they pick things up. So it's very, very, it's very different. It's very different.
Now, so it's a lot of questions popping up about interns and assistants, and how does that work in your space? If somebody wanted to be that for you,
it's just, you just go to jsn .studio. What is it? I think that's the email. It's one of those emails. It's like, you just go to my Instagram and click on the email. I just work here,
right?
So you go there to the JSN studio. Go to the JSN studio Instagram, or the Jason my Instagram, and look for the email, and then send the email. But I am. I don't even know. Look,
well, you're like, listen.
I'm like, I need a cocktail. But but you go there and you go there, and it's like, what's different for me is, I'm not interested in how fabulous you are. Like you come into it with me and you got like this look on, and I'm somewhere like, don't care. Like I don't care about that. Like what I care about is somebody who is passionate about the work, who can do the work and understand that some days it may take you 3 months to ever see a celebrity. And that's the type of stuff that shows me that you're really here for the business and not just for an Instagram post. So I'm because again, going back to everything, I'm about building us up. And I want to give you all the tools you need. So when it's time for you to spread your wings and fly and leave from me, you have everything that you need. So my thing is like, yeah. So you send it to one of those emails.
Go find the email, and like the advice that I give all of you all the time when y'all sending emails to people, keep it short, keep it cute. Don't be sending those 3 or 4 pair. We don't care about your life story. We don't care about
because everybody got one.
Everybody got one. The question is who are you and how can you help me?
Yeah,
those are the only 2 questions you got to answer. Yeah. And how can I get in touch with you? That's it.
That's it. When I tell you, boo, that is it.
That's it. Like, we don't care about nothing else. just tell that part. So, what advice would you just give an upcoming stylist, an upcoming designer, just want to be in the fashion realm? What kind of?
I say it's the same thing I tell everybody: read, study. Read, study, learn it in and out, ask questions, send people DMs to just ask questions. It's actually when people send me DMs sometimes, and I never hardly ever read my DMs because I just have ADD, but
we all do.
Yeah, it's refreshing to actually have somebody, Derek, I just actually have somebody, it's so like you have a group, oh my God, I want to do this, but then somebody walks up to you and they ask you a really serious question like, hey, I'm doing some styling right now, and I'm trying to figure out how do you charge people? Like for me, that's a question I'd be like, girl, okay, so this what's up. This how you do this, So it's different. So just ask really real questions. Like I don't want to talk about what it's like to work with Alicia Keys. Like ask me some real questions that's going to change your life, because that's the stuff you look for. You look for an assistant and somebody coming out there talking about, oh, I can't wait to do Nicole's hair. And you looking like,
well, yeah. And have you found, especially now? I mean, I know there's people before the exposure, before the show. There are people that knew who you were, but then when you get on the show, it's all these other people. You're like, where the fuck y'all come from? Like what?
But
what what is all that?
What's so funny with me is like, because I have sensory overload, so I can't do a lot of shit because I'll be like, what the fuck? So what's really good for me, my assistants always block that for me.
Gotcha.
So I'm always being able to be like, because it's just like, when you talk to me, like I want to have a fucking real conversation. Like I'm like that person. Like I like to actually sit down and really talk. I like to have a key and really talk. So when you come out of nowhere and be like, and I just be somewhere like, can we wrap this shit up? I gotta go. Like, so, but it's not I'm not being an asshole at all, but it's just like, when you can be in proximity to someone who can give you information to feed yourself, take advantage of those moments. Like really take advantage of those moments. And that's the thing that I like, to the point where I be out sometimes and my assistant be like, are you gonna talk to that person all day? Because all of a sudden I get drawn in, I'll be like, oh my God.
Well, because it's like you said, it's refreshing to have.
It's refreshing. I'd be like,
want to know.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to wrap this up because
it's all fine. No, I'm doing it
because I actually have a fitting.
Oh, that's fine. No, we're good. We're actually.
And meanwhile, I'm somewhere like this. I already text my assistant being like, "Do you think you can do it?"
But no, we're actually done because my 5-minute warning popped up anyway. So.
Oh damn.
But yeah,
they let us have it.
Right. But Jason, thank you. I'm gonna reach back out to you because I have something else I want to talk to you about. But thank you.
I'm listen. I'm ready for a reach out.
Right.
What you want to talk about?
I'm gonna touch bases with you a little later.
Oh, okay.
Well, you have fun on your fitting. Even though I know it's work, but have a good time. And thank you again for taking the time out with me.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Call me.
I will.
Call me.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
More good. If you know what, I'm about to start charging y'all asses. I'm about to start charging y'all because I just keep bringing y'all, child. And you know, and they keep delivering. But so next week I am pulling together my schedule for next week. I have a few people already lined up, but you know, next week's gonna be a really good week. So yeah. So I will see you guys next week on Monday. Talk to y'all later.